Hello and welcome to Let's Play City Skylines with Lucky Rat. So this is actually a continuation of the last video, simply because the video was too long and I didn't feel like making a really long recording, so I split it up into two. But next time I'll make sure not to do that. So, as you can see, starting out, I was just putting in some more industrial area. This is separate from our timber industry, which is all set up and ready to go. We'll find out kind of how far we get into that or how much it levels up as we go along. I am happy to say that the goal for last week was met in getting another subscriber. So the goal for this video is just to get one more subscriber. So if you like it, please hit subscribe and helps meet that goal. So checking our healthcare, because we don't have pollution, it's really nice. People tend to just not really get sick. I believe what I'm doing is adding on more healthcare anyway, because I want to make sure that the people up in the northern area don't have to drive forever in a day just to get to the clinic if they need to. Also putting a fire station up there as well, just to make sure that we have good coverage. Checking our education here. We do need another high school. So I'm going to go ahead and put one in. I really don't care for the default one that comes with the game. I like this one better that we're placing. I'm going to put it here in the north as well, kind of in our industrial timber area, but it's kind of nice because people will be able to bike there easily if they want, and the kids after school can kind of hang out and have kind of a nice area to walk around in or hang out at. With all the trees, it should be pretty nice for them. So one of the things that I'm looking for here is I want to add another line for our bus route coming up around to the northern area, just connecting some routes together. And if people need to transfer, that's fine too. I just want to make sure that if people are trying to get around by bus, that they are able to get to all the areas of the city as well. So I'm actually having a hard time locating the Ding Dang Dong bus route option. So I'm clicking around all over the place because I don't know where the heck it's at. Oh, okay, here we go. Found it. I feel like it wasn't in the same place last time, but we found it, so that's all that matters. So I'm just making a new line here, making sure that it comes all the way over, and then just kind of adding it in here. I also want it to come over, and although we don't have a need to stop at that location yet, we may in the future. So just making sure that it's set up properly. So now it's all connected. Going into the line here, we're going to change the color of it to a nice yellow, so it's looks different than our other lines. next thing here. So our people, our new industry, that the land value goes up a little bit and they're able to level up. I'm just gonna put a nice little park in here, a little tennis area. Or I think that's what it is. No, it's football again. It's the dang soccer. Whatever. Don't care. Also a sweet skate park. I'm really liking this one. We already have one skate park, but this one's a lot better, a lot nicer. So I'm happy about that. So as we can see when we zoom in, it's nicer than the other one. There's more rails, some stairs, some more vert areas. This looking nice. Very good. And then I come over and realize, oh, football again. It's the wrong kind of football. But whatever. We're going to leave it. If someone wants to play soccer, they can, I guess. It's really just there to increase land value anyway. Just going to add in a little bit of residential here. It is a nice area, so I figure, some people might want to live here. If I lived in Des Moines, this might be an area I look at because the trees provide kind of a nice level of privacy. If you're moving into a home there, you got good access to the rest of the city, and you know what? There's not a lot of traffic, not a lot of people coming in and out in that area either. So the privacy is pretty nice. And then still adding more industrial just because it's the highest demand. I mean, other areas, as far as residential and commercial, are still a little bit up there, but the industry was the highest of the three. Hopefully, with placing all of them, they'll sort of stay evened out and we'll keep our demand up for all of them, even if it's only a little bit of demand. As long as we have a little bit, we're happy. So I'm just taking a look. I can see that our industry area, it's making all the things we wanted to. We got storage, keeping it balanced. And it looks like other areas of the city are using our industrial supply, so that's fantastic. I think that'll help with the commercial areas saying not having enough products to sell. Just making a little street through here. Just because I do not want everyone using just one area to drive through. Just to split up the traffic a little bit. And again, if people want to bicycle or walk or whatever it might be, we want them to be able to not have to go all the way around. It's a steep hill, but it's still probably better than having to bike all the way around just to get to where you want to go if you're bicycling. Drivers, I don't care as much about. If they have to drive around, they have to drive around. But I want the people biking or walking to be able to get to where they need to go pretty easily. I don't want to make it hard on them. So, let's see here. Checking the parks again. I do notice that we can put a riding stable in, which is pretty neat. The only thing is I can't really put it here because it won't let me. It's just too big. But I want to put some kind of park in here. It's just really hard because of the slope being very steep. It doesn't really want to place any. So I use a real small one in the bouncy castle area. And that brings it up to that nice blue color that we want anyway, because there's the soccer place and the skateboard nearby. Oh, geez, they still don't have enough raw materials. Goodness. And they're a food place, which is weird because everything except for the timber is all slated as being agricultural. So it's real interesting that they would say that they don't have enough raw materials when they do. So the only thing that I'm thinking is we need to have more highway. We need to have the highway at this point connect to the upper side of the city. Because if the highway works in the idea that a lot of maybe the truckers or the drivers don't want to come through the whole city, they just want to be able to get to places on the highway, then at some point, unless we want to build south of the highway, oh good, our industry leveled up to 2. Excellent. We will come back to that, but I want to look at dealing with the problem of our areas not being connected to the highway. I mean, at some point you do have to make more highway, unless you're building along the highway that's already placed by the map itself. And that might be what we end up doing. You know, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I got to figure out how to do the highway anyway. I haven't made a kind of turnstile yet. I've always just used what came with the city, so I'm kind of trying to figure, okay, if I place some highway, I need to get it set up to come all the way up here from down there. And then once I have those set up, then I'll figure out how to connect them. So first things first, let's get it nice and connected up. Got one going each way. And just a nice little curve here. So now I have at least our lines set up, although, hey, it's flooding, fantastic. So I need to make a bridge right here to go over our little water source coming in. So I also haven't made a bridge before. I have this tool called Paralleled Road Tool, so I have no idea how to use it. I just want those two freeways to be synced up where they're the same distance apart from each other. So I want to use the Parallel Road Tool. But I think the problem is, yeah. So what you have to do if you get the Parallel Road Tool is you open it first, right? And then you select the plus button, and then that will say, okay, you want to add one road that's parallel to the road you're placing. Now, if you want to press the plus again, then it'll say you want to add 2 roads parallel to the road that you're placing. And then you can say same as selected, which would be perfect for highway because, you know, you want your 2 lanes, but then you could select any road that you want. All it's going to do is make whatever you select that type of road parallel to it. I had already built these roads, and so I'm like, you know what, screw it. I don't want to remake them. So I just kind of used the Move It mod, and I'm just trying to get this kind of nice and snug up to our other road. It doesn't look great though. So the parallel road tool, I think, is a lot better, because it's going to make it look really neat and, quote unquote perfect, lined up to the road that you're making. But I just decided, okay, let's just line it up manually, and we can deal with fixing it later on. So as you can see here, it's like, oh, okay. So I can make these parallel, but I need to make a bridge. So I connect them, but it's real wonky. It's wrong. It's just wrong. So I hit Control Z to undo that. And then I'm just thinking about what I need to do. Because the first thing I need to do is set the road at a higher, if I want to build a bridge over it, I need to put it up higher than what it was. So I just go back to just one highway. But if I click right now, it's down there at the bottom, which I don't want. I want it to go over the top. So I mess with the height, and I'm like, okay, go way up, go super high up, right? And then now it should build over. But it doesn't. It doesn't make a bridge. All it does is build a wall. So I don't know what to do. I don't know how to make bridges. I know that other people make them, and they have no problems with it. But I don't, actually. So, as you can see, I haven't noticed it yet. But as you can see, it's just flooding. It's just flooding like crazy. Because I have essentially made a dam, and the water's has built up behind it, and is now flooding a huge chunk of my city. There, I just finally notice it. But it's too late. The damage is done. So let's watch as the horrible, horrible flooding comes through a huge chunk of our city. Oh, biscuits. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? Just everyone is very sad about the fact that they're getting flooded, but no homes are getting destroyed. So that's a plus. A lot of cars are getting washed away. Probably a lot of people are dying, I would imagine. If you're in a car right now and you're getting blasted away at this rate, there's probably some deaths. I don't know how that gets figured out by the game. I don't know if they just don't count them as deaths in disasters like this. I don't know if the hospitals or clinics increase because people are hurt or whatever, or if people just don't seem to care. I really don't. I have no idea. So I'm deleting all this. Delete, because I learned a little bit. I learned how to use the parallel tool. I didn't learn how to do a bridge, which is a problem. I definitely need to know how to make bridges, but at this point, I just give up. In the future, what it could be is if the water area isn't big enough, it just might not do a bridge. I don't know. What I might do is build underground instead, so build a tunnel for the highway to go under the water source instead of try and go over it. But I just kind of give up. So I'm noticing that we're having, some backup of our traffic here. So I'm trying to lane assign a little bit, just to say, hey, let's try and get this backup fixed a little. So I'm just kind of playing with that since it seems like we're having a lot of people come in. The other side looks great. For whatever reason, I decided to mess with it anyway. So I'm just saying, hey, if you're in these lanes, you need to, you can choose one or two, but I don't want you going all the way from the top lane to the bottom. If you want to do that, you need to at least be over and playing a little bit better. Okay, so it looks like people are not lined up as bad. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually going to turn Old Town off. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I'm wondering if that will help bring more products into our commercial zones. So it's really just a test. Now, I know it says that if people need to deliver to businesses or whatever, that they can come in, but I'm not sure if... I just want to see if that helps the issue of all these businesses saying don't have enough goods to sell. What I'm thinking is, okay, well, they might call and say, hey, we need more supplies, and so those trucks are allowed in, but maybe there's like, quote unquote, salespeople coming through if Old Town is turned on that can't come in. So to simplify that, what I'm saying is by turning in Old Town off again, meaning anybody who wants to come can, does that allow more products into the city for our commercial and industrial areas? Does that allow more workers to come in? Or does having Old Town on, is that fine? Is it not going to make any difference from our businesses? I originally turned it on because it helps with traffic. I don't really want traffic in our city. I don't want people that, I don't care about tourism right now. I don't care about any of that kind of stuff. If you live here, if you work here, if you're bringing products in here, whatever, then come in here. But if you're here to just mess around, drive around, whatever, I don't want you here. But I want to see how much more traffic comes in, one, and I want to see if it helps our problems without creating, problems we can't handle. So I'm just going through our services and city planning, because I'm just allowing some time to pass. I want to see A, how bad the traffic gets, and B, if we get more products into our businesses, and we need to allow some time to pass for that to happen. Now, as you clearly see, already we're having traffic issues. In a very short period of time, we have a lot more people coming into our city. So for a while, I'm just gonna mess around with our traffic to see if we can get this increased traffic solved without having to turn Old Town back on. So I'll see you in a minute after I fiddle with that for a while. So, as you can see, even though the flow within the city is pretty good, on both sides of the freeway, we're getting really bad backups, which isn't good. And some of that might get sorted out in time, because once you have the traffic in the city flowing well, then the highway will eventually catch up. But it's really just it's a band-aid, because we need the northern part of the city to be connected to the freeway. That's just going to reduce a lot of people using only one access point to the entire city anyway. And it didn't really seem to have an effect on our local businesses not getting enough goods. So it's just not good enough. The next video here that we make, gonna definitely have to do a lot more. We've increased our population enough for now that I really am gonna have to spend the next video optimizing the city in a lot of ways. But it's nice that we at least have a little bit more diversity in our industrial. We have a higher population, which is nice. The city is stable. The traffic once in is looking really good. It doesn't appear that that only having one access into the city at this point is going to be sufficient. I mean, look how backed up our traffic is. It's just crazy. It's ridiculous. It's almost the whole length of the entire city right now. That's just one backup. So we need to find ways for people to access the northern part of the city. So I'll look into that some, and hopefully I'll have some solutions in the next video. So for the remainder of the video, I am just going to be toying with the traffic a little bit more on the freeway. I want to eliminate these lines because I'm hoping that'll help with some of the backup on the traffic here as well. But I'm not thinking that it's really going to help. But it might. Just to say, okay, the middle, you can switch, and the lower you can switch, but if you're in the red lane, you need to stay up there. Just to help collapse some of this traffic down a little bit better. Alright, well, thank you for bearing with this second part to a multi-part series. I hope that I'll have some solutions to some of our problems with traffic, with not getting enough products, and to help with the flow of the city better next time. Thank you very much for sticking around, and we'll see you next time.